Neo is a channel with over 2 million subscribers, and in this video I will show you how to recreate this plain blueprint animation from Neo's second most recent video. All elements used in this tutorial can be found in the description. And instead of Adobe After Effects, I'm going to import the plain 3D model first. So drag your 3D model to your timeline, and then here select Make Comp Size, and then click OK. Now, when we have imported our model inside Adobe After Effects, we can open our transform options and start with animating. So first I'm going to create X, Y, and Z rotation keyframes and also position and scale. Here on our first keyframe, I will add a slight Y rotation and also X rotation. And we're going to finish this first scene by adding also Z rotation. Now we can go 4 seconds forward on our timeline and create another set of keyframes. However, here we're going to animate the end of our first segment. So let's add a 0 Y rotation and also 0 X rotation. Add a Z rotation so the plane is straight like this, and also add scale so we can see it in the full size, and also let's move position so we can center our plane. Then we can select all of these keyframes and press F9 on the keyboard in order to turn them into easy ease. Now, when we're finished with this, we can split this model in 2 elements. So press Ctrl plus Shift plus D, or if you're on Mac, Command plus Shift plus D. And then we can move our model forward, let's say at 14th second. And we can remove first set of keyframes. Then we can go back to our model, go to the last frame of this model here, and then make sure that you select it, and then go to Composition and Save Frame As, and then go to File. And here in Current Settings, you don't need to change anything, so click OK. And then here in Output Model, you can select PNG Sequence, and then click OK. Also, to make sure that you only export plane, select here, and if you don't see the background, then you will know that this frame is transparent. So then let's import our frame. Now let's import this PNG file on our timeline, and then shorten your layer till this point here. Now we can play with this transparent picture. So first we need to draw the blueprint of plane, so I'm going to select a pen tool and zoom in so we can start with drawing. I'll create a first anchor point here, and as you can see we made a shape layer. So let's start with drawing. So now after we made our first shape layer, here in Fill, make sure that you remove opacity, so you're only left with this line. And then you can copy this layer and paste it below your first layer. And here, remove Stroke Size and also add a fill color, for example this grayish color, and set opacity to, let's say, 73%. And then we can also add other lines, so I'm going to open shape layer and let's continue with drawing. Now, after we're finished with drawing blueprint, we can select all of these shape layers and pre-compose them. And let's type blueprint and then click OK. Now we can shorten this composition and then we can parent it to our screenshot. So first create a first keyframe for opacity for our blueprint composition and also opacity for our screenshot. And then 1 second in, we can select another keyframe and here we will reveal our blueprint and slightly decrease opacity for our screenshot. Let's say 54%. Then let's go back and here decrease to 0 and leave opacity as it is. And then select all of these keyframes and press F9 in order to turn them into easy ease. Here also shorten the composition on the end. And now we can also animate our screenshot. So here add scale and at around 8 seconds finish it off with, let's say, 246 and also add position so we can go to the cockpit. Now let's go back to our composition and select all of these layers except for shape layer 2 and then pre-compose them one more time. We do this because we are going to apply glow effect to these lines. So type here glow and drag it on your composition. And now we can add it to, let's say, 7 as glow radius. Now when we cross 8-second mark, we can add our agents. So I will leave a link in the description for Envato elements where you can find these illustrations. So I'm going to import this PNG file on top. And as you can see, they're too big. So I'm going to decrease scale. And let's see if they fit. So maybe 3%. And now I'm going to create a mask so we can isolate the agent we want. So for example, I'm going to use this one here. So this is our first agent, then copy this layer and we can move this mask. For example, you can use this one at the end. And let's also use one more agent. For example, this one here. So remove the rest. Make sure that you cropped it. And so far we're done. So next let's animate the appearance of these agents. So I'm going to place one here, and then this one on the top. And also let's select all of these layers and parent them to the frame.png layer. So for example, let's say that these two appear first. So I'm going to open opacity and add the 10-second mark, or maybe 9 and 15. Let's add another keyframe and go back and decrease to 0%. Also add easy ease. And we can just copy this settings here and paste them here. So now they appear in the same time. And at 11-second mark, we can add the animation for our last agent. So opacity, and then at 11:28 at 100%, and the first keyframe is 0. And also add easy ease. Now let's animate the exit animation. So I'm going to go a bit forward, copy this setting here, and then let's copy also opacity, and then this set of keyframes you can, let's say, paste it here. Also blueprint finishes here, and then this keyframe we will paste it here. So as we exit, they disappear. Also let's animate the exit animation for our agents using the same motion. So here add a keyframe, set it to 0, Here, set it to 0. And we added the exit animation. Now we can just animate also this 3D model. So, for example, till the end, we can add another set of keyframes and let's play with rotations. So, for example, add a 31 degrees and let's say Z is 139 and position. So it is just slightly above the center, and also add a slight decrease in scale. And also make sure that they're easy ease. So finally, let's see our animation.